What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActiveMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today this is a recap of The Penguin, Season 1, Episode 5. I'm starting to realize more and more that we're probably going to just do one season. I've heard them talk about in interviews about, wanting to do future seasons, or people wanting them to do future seasons, and they're being very coy. Like, oh yeah, maybe. I'm like, I don't even know what Gotham's going to look like. If this is like, if they take this and put this in the context of the Batman 2, whatever it's being called, I don't even know. I mean, like the repercussions just for what Penguin is able to achieve in and of itself is actually kind of amazing. So, spoilers ahead. This is still available on Max. It still has audio description, which is still done by Dakota Green and still International Digital Center. All the same stuff is still there. Ren Leach is still the narrator. So, and I have a Friday the 13th shirt on today, which is not really representational of anything other than the fact that I've been reviewing a lot of horror movies recently. But so we're done with the flashback episode and we're now fully caught up. And this sort of takes place after the mass murder of the Falcone family from Sophia, which is interesting because you have somebody who's known for being the killer, but she smartly left somebody alive with a motive. She took what Penguin gave her and she used it to get herself out of the situation. So Johnny is trapped in a room downstairs and she's like dumping cold water on him in a cold room and trying to get him to like come to terms. And he gives her the story about, how her mom died and she was going to leave her father and stuff like that. And they were cousins and he feels bad for ever introducing the two of them. He's responsible for that. I don't really think she cares about any of that stuff. She doesn't really seem to, but she needs him for something. At the time, you don't know what, but she needs him for something. And she needs him to heal, so to speak. And she's trying to break him so that he respects her. So, Michael Kelly's, I don't know, it's hard to say that he gets like performance nods here because there's so many great performances in the show. And Kristen Milioti is just like on like a different level, like all the time now. So every time she walks into a room, I'm just like, oh my God, she's going to win this Emmy. Like, I don't even know. I don't know what's coming out between now and Emmys, but if she doesn't win the Emmy, I'm going to be like, whatever that performance is must be amazing, because I haven't seen anything. There's nothing that came out since like the beginning of Emmy consideration period and now that I think is better than this. So good luck. Good luck, Best Actress in a Drama contenders, or potentially Best Actress in a Limited Series. So depending on where HBO goes with this. Good luck. So she wants to set up the family so that it basically is a representation of her mother. She idolizes her mother. And so she renames the family. She uses, I'm telling stuff sort of like out of order because if I told it scene by scene, it wouldn't even make any sense. So I'm basically just telling you Sophia's line because we pick up sort of where she left off. Oh, we do get to see Gia and she's going to child services. I was actually kind of hoping Sophia would take her under her wing and adopt her, but I just don't think Sophia has the time. She doesn't have a partner. Julian does come back here. Sophia Rossi is back in the mix. And he's basically like, I dedicate my life to you. I just want to be a part of this. He's like, you've called me on my bullshit. It's absolutely, all of that is true. Anything I can do to help, And she's like, all right, well, whatever. Maybe he'll be useful for something. So Julian is now part of her mob family, despite not really being a mob guy. but she's reconstructed the family with a whole bunch of people who were like Penguin, who were people who were dedicating their life to the family, but were not, quote, made men. And she's making them. She's basically saying, you have a place in this family. This is a new family that I'm taking over. And she really has like she's basically inherited all the resources, being the only surviving Falcone. So she's inherited theoretically everything there. And since the only big challenge to her, the Maronis, are basically, they're struggling right now. More on that. She has a pretty good Kickstarter campaign going here for her crime family. She it overfunded, she's good. She's got a good head start. So she gives some money, and she's got herself some nice lieutenants running around out there. None of them really are specific. None of them became characters. It just has a bunch of like nondescript dudes running around who are now like, yeah, we work for Sophia because she's. We feel more respected. It's really all about respect in this world, and being able to rise. She sees that in Oz, and she sees kind of why Oz does what he does is because he never felt that. And so she's basically giving that to everybody who's like Oz. And I think it's brilliant. So that she doesn't have any dissension in the ranks. She's basically like saying, nobody saw you before, but I see you. And then she shoots Johnny in the head. I'm like, wait a minute. So you did all of that? And I think she did all of that just so that she could get him to call in the lieutenants, like to call in all of those guys and bring them to the table. And then she's like really blunt. She's like, just to clear the air. I killed my family. We're sons of bitches. And I think you know that. And here's why. And then Johnny tries saying something, and she shoots him in the head. So rest in peace, Michael Kelly. You're off the show now. Goodbye, episode 5. But so are so many other people at this point. It's getting hard to count the body count. He's not even the only major exit of the episode. So basically, Sophia has another scene, but I have to then catch you up on what Oz is doing. On the other side, Oz is obviously feeling a little up against the wall, but him and Victor, they're talking, and he's like, not necessarily. So what he does, and he goes and kidnaps this sort of like obnoxious, really underdeveloped. We only get to see him for a little bit through like TikTok videos. But the Maronis have a kid who is about as gangster as Alberto was. You know what I'm saying? Like, just sort of like somebody who wasn't really built for this life, but is somehow in it and doesn't really think about looking over their shoulder much, and just thinks, oh, because of my last name, people will move out of the way. So he's just doing his thing, and Penguin comes in with his crew, kills all of his like I don't know, bodyguards, and kidnaps this kid. I don't know, young man. And I keep saying kid, but he's teen to college age kid, and probably college age, 20 something probably. And then Oz uses that to sort of get the Maronis to come to the table with him. Even after all of that, he's like, well, you kind of have to, because I have your kid. So if you don't, he dies. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want your kid back? Oz wants the mushrooms. He wants the drugs back so that he can start his own criminal enterprise, realizing that that's kind of what he wanted to do all the time, was to take out the Falcons and the Maronis. So he was basically what Sophia's doing, which is starting her own thing. Oz also wanted to do that, and he kind of has that because he has guys. There are scenes where he has other guys other than Victor, so he does have other guys that are following him in this journey through life. I just don't know how extensive that is, how many people he has, but So anyway, Mama Maroney, I forgot what her name is. It's something, but she has a name. I know she does. Shohei Dashlu um, agrees to meet with Oz, and she's allowed one henchman, for her own safety. And so he brings a guy who is going to be the guy that drives the truck. And of course, the whole thing is sketchy from the beginning. But the kid is there, ready to be given back to mom. But something's different about him. Oz has got him gagged, and doesn't want to release the gag. And but he does make the exchange, and they do get the thing. The thing is, though, that the Maronis can't be trusted because they have a whole bunch of other people there that start the ambush, and Oz and his one henchman have to fight their way out of the situation. And in doing so, Oz lights a match and drops it, and we see that basically her son is covered in like some sort of, I would think if it was gasoline, she would smell it. So it's some sort of accelerant that she doesn't immediately go, oh my God, my son smells like gasoline. What the fuck? But rest in peace, because both of them die. The Maroney kid and Shohei Dashlu. I said there were 2 major deaths this episode, and I meant it. So Shohei and Michael Kelly are both off the show. 2 amazing actors who have given really solid performances so far are off in episode 5. So go on. And Oz, that triggers the sprinkler system, which gets the mushrooms wet, which ruins them. Most of them. He only has a little bit left. He tries going back to what is her name? It's like a 3-letter name. His girlfriend. We'll just call her, for all intents and purposes, his girlfriend. To get her to come with. He's also made a move on Maroney by hiring somebody to stab Maroney. But the person does stab Maroney. It just is not a fatal stab. So Maroney takes that. He's able to, I guess, kill the other guy and escape jail. We don't really see it. He just does. Like he gets the keys, whatever, from the and it's, don't ask questions. It's like Oz calls that dude's phone, and it's Maroney, and he's like, thanks for the keys. And Oz is like, why don't you call your wife's phone, see if she picks up. It's funny because like Maroney went into that phone call thinking he had the upper hand, and and then Oz is like, oh, by the way, I killed your family, so have fun with that. And he's worried, and he finds out that his girlfriend doesn't want to leave with him. She's worried that Sophia's got a target, but she didn't want to go anywhere, which is really weird. Her whole motivations this episode was the one thing where I was like, so you're worried Sophia might know about you, but also you don't want to go into hiding with Oz. Huh. What is thy character motivation? I feel like we're setting her character up for a death probably in the next episode. Because it's very contrary. She's like, I'm afraid of Sophia. Are you gonna run with me? No. But you're afraid of... Anyway, the one thing that didn't make any sense to me was this girl. I mean, I can get not wanting to be with Oz, and being like, well, God, is this the life I've chosen for myself? But at that moment, it's like, if you are legitimately afraid that Sophia's going to retaliate against you, then why would you stay? But anyway, the other stuff that's happening is Victor has been tasked with watching over Mama Penguin. And so he is at her house, and at first it's very when he first walks in, I'm like, oh God, is she dead? Because the refrigerator door is open, the stove is on, and there are Post-it notes everywhere, And you're like, what the fuck happened in this house? It's like, oh, he's gonna, and there's like a door, right? It's like, and he's gonna have to push it open. And I was like, oh, she's dead. And it's like, nope, she's just sitting on the bed looking at memorabilia. She does kind of like have a little bit of her like senior moment where she starts talking to him like Victor's her son. But like as soon as he mentions that he's not, she snaps back at him. She's like, I know who you are. I keep asking my son and he keeps sending other people instead of himself to visit me. So once she's in it, and she's like whip smart and has all these ideas, and she clearly remembers Oz's plan because she's able to have a conversation with Victor about it, and has like a clear understanding of what it is that Oz is doing, which makes you kind of realize that she's almost like a consigliere to Oz in this situation. I don't think her character is going to survive the season. I think somebody's going to find her, and it's going to be the thing that sets Oz off. There's a line that he has when he's trying to explain to Victor, because Victor is like, I can do this. I can be here. I can be more. Like, why are you sending me away to just watch your mom? And he's like, because I trust you, and because she's the only thing that keeps me good. And it's a very interesting line because that Oz would think that he's good or has any goodness within him. And it made me think of things like, did he necessarily intend on dropping that lighter? Or was that a backup plan? Was the lighter the backup plan just in case the Maronis betrayed him? Was he pretty sure the Maronis were going to betray him and he was ready to do that? Or was he always going to do that? Like if the Maronis had just traded and, not tried to go after him, would he have still dropped that? And that's the question that I think lingers with when he says, she keeps me good, is it's possible he might have let them live. And that's the question is, what is it that he sees in himself that's good? What are the choices that he's making? Does he see himself as eradicating people who are worse than him out of the crime world? So he can just, how is he good? How does she keep him good? So then you ask yourself, well, if he's good now, then when she's not on the table, what does that look like? And I think we're definitely going to see that this season. So if they're willing to kill off Shohreh Aghdashloo and Michael Kelly in episode 5, and really all the other characters they've killed off thus far, yeah. Mama Penguin is not. Right now, I think this could be like a scorched. The reason why I was saying that I don't know if there's going to be a second season is I kind of see this like scorched earth. I don't know that anybody's going to make it to the next season except Penguin. Now, Sophia would be interesting because then they could do like a constant back and forth thing. If between the two of them, that would really set up a second season. But if they're trying to do like a one season villain with Sophia, there's also an opportunity that Oz has when somebody's I think it was his girlfriend was worried about Sophia and mentions like, oh, the hangman is after us, and Oz knows that's bullshit, and he could have easily just revealed that and been like, that was bullshit, the family just put on her because of this. He doesn't even have to put it on himself, because I don't even know if that's really on Oz, because I think it was something that Falcone needed to have happen so that he could get rid of her, because I mean, he was obviously the one that was doing those deaths, so he needed a patsy for it anyway, and she had figured out that it was him that killed her mother. So I don't really think Oz, even though she blames Oz, I think it's very misplaced. I think her dad was always gonna find a way to get her out after that. There was never really a chance beyond that. If not Oz, it would have been somebody else, Johnny or somebody. I mean, like the whole family goes up against her. Somebody would have put her in Arkham. So Oz was just part of a larger plan, a patsy. And I would hope that he's realized that by now and can stop carrying around the guilt. But this would have been an excellent opportunity to kind of mention that. But could have done it. We didn't. And the episode kind of ends two ways. Sophia goes and tries to mend fences with Maroni and team up with Maroni, who is like hiding in a cabin in the woods. But she does have to kill all of his men first. I'm like, if you want to team up, he's going to have some people left. Penguin's already killed a lot of them. You guys have already killed. He doesn't have that many people left. You know, he doesn't have like a wealth of hitmen, like and he keeps losing every single battle that he sends his people into. So, his numbers are down, but then again, so are hers. So I guess together, you know, they summon Captain Planet. I don't know. But the power is yours. So they have like an understanding that they both hate the same person, and she even said, he's like, why don't you want to kill me? And she's like, that's because it's what Oz wants. You know, she recognizes what his plan is, and she's not gonna do it. So as long as he's willing to accept this new arrangement, then she's gonna work with Maroni, and Maroni's alive at the end of the episode, so I'm guessing. But then again, so is Johnny. So, you know, Maroni could be alive for 5 minutes in the next episode, and then she could be like, oh yeah, so now I own the Maronis also. I'm just killing off everybody. Just I use dudes for 5 seconds and then get rid of them. So we'll see how long this partnership lasts, considering her last one with Johnny was not a very long one. We'll say. And then Oz finds a warehouse that would be great for growing mushrooms. It's very moldy, very wet. So great for mushrooms. Bad for probably like, you know, your lungs and health, but fuck it, right? And they all live in this, they all live in the hood, in the slums now, because that was the one place where they thought nobody would look for them. And I'm like, you're still in Gotham though? Like, I mean, no offense, but why not leave? Like, why couldn't, I think it would have been a really interesting thing where like Victor is like, he could have even dropped it because they're in the same DC universe. He could have just said, oh, do you want me to take her to Metropolis? You know, he doesn't have to go there, but just like acknowledge like that they can leave Gotham. Like there is a city outside of Gotham, instead of basically going into like a borough of Gotham, like they're in New York. So basically they went from, I don't know, Manhattan to Hell's Kitchen or something. I have no idea. I don't know. It's like, oh, they'll never find us here. And it's like, will they? Is it really that far? So, you know, I'm watching Daryl Dixon, and Melissa McBride found that motherfucker in France. So, if you're determined enough, you can find anybody anywhere on this planet. So, yeah, if the writers are determined enough, it doesn't really matter where you go. I like the episode. Yeah, I mean, I can do a couple of like nitpicky things, but this movie, I always feel this. I always think it feels like a film, but this show has so many great moments, so many little great scenes. Mama Penguin is a fantastic acting performance this episode. It's just so many great performances, and having been brought back to a department that reminded her of the place where she was when she lost her other kids. Penguin is like the only surviving kid that she has. You know, is like really breaking her, and you can tell that she's a really nice moment that I thought. Plus, Kristen Milioti is like fire everything she walks into now. Ever since they turned the light switch on for her, and she kind of came out of this like catatonic "my brother's dead" thing, and she's gone into this like other, like it's just great. It's just nothing but perfection. Colin Farrell's been delivering an excellent performance all season long. So, yeah, I'm really happy about the series. Sad to see Shora Dasu go because I thought she was doing good work. Michael Kelly, I thought, was kind of being pigeonholed into a really sort of one-note character. I would have liked to see him do more because he's very capable as an actor. But it was surprising to see his character get killed off like that. So, especially considering we just watched like everyone else die, and we're like, oh, well, she needs him for something. What does she need him for? Oh, nothing, apparently. Not much. So the surprise of that definitely worked. So yeah, I'll give the Penguins season 1, episode 5 an A. I think it's great television. I think it's the best TV series of the year. So, although we have a problem, Silo debuts on in November with season 2, and if season 2 of Silo, I don't know, I don't know what to do, guys. I'm a huge Silo fan. Like, I thought season 1 of Silo was like kind of like how I feel about the Penguin. Like, I feel like it was a game changing for my TV watching habits. I just like I discovered it. Like, I was like, I don't even know what this is. Like, as I was discovering, I was like, oh my god, this show is amazing. So I'm really excited for Silo season 2. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.